Okay, now let's have a look at some completing the square questions. So, all the time with completing a square, we're trying to get in the form y equals a outside of x take h squared plus k. But right now it's in the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. If we were to expand this right-hand side, you don't have to do this, by the way, that's the same as a outside of x squared take 2xh plus h squared plus k. So y equals ax squared take 2axh plus ah squared plus k, which means if we've got y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, then a is a, b equals minus 2h, c equals ah squared plus k. But we have an easier way than trying to remember all of those formulas. Well, I say easier. It's not a terribly easy way. Let's complete the square. The square. So, because this is a letter out the front and we've got nothing in front of the x, a number out the front, we've got nothing in front of the x, I'm trying to take the 2 out the front, but I'm only going to take it out the front of the first 2 terms. So I've got y equals 2 outside of x squared take 2x, and then plus 3 at the end. I then do my normal step where I halve whatever this is and make it squared. Y equals 2 outside of x squared take, well, 2 on 2, halve it, squared. And then we normally do take 2 on 2 squared, but that 2 on 2 would also be multiplied by this 2 at the front. So I've got to take 2 lots of it, plus 3. Yeah, so I'm going to colour the code those just so you know where they came from. So this becomes y equals, and I shouldn't have had x squared, 2 outside of x take 1 squared take 2 times 1 squared plus 3. So I get y equals 2 outside of x take 1 squared minus 2 plus 3 is plus 1. So here my a equals 2, my h equals 1, and my k equals 1. And now they want us to actually sketch it. So first step, concave. Well, the number in front of the x squared is positive, so it's a happy. It's positive, concave up. Y-intercept, let x equals 0. So we can do this with the original equation, by the way. We've got y equals 2 times 0 squared, take 4 times 0 plus 3. It's going to be positive 3. Okay. X-intercept, let y equals 0. This one's the annoying one. We do this with the completed the square version. So we've got 0 equals 2 outside of x, take 1 squared plus 1. I'm going to scroll down and then we're just going to deal with that. Okay, so we've got negative 1. So I'm taking this plus 1 at the end over. Negative 1 equals 2 outside of x, take 1 all squared. I'm going to halve it. Negative 1 over 2 equals x, take 1 all squared. I then want to square root, but I can't. So I can't square root a negative. Therefore, no x-intercepts. Okay, now let's look for the axis of symmetry. This is our x equals h. So normally you'd want to add your x-intercepts together and divide by 2, but we've completed the square so we can get it straight from the equation. So we know x equals 1. Okay, the y-coordinate of the vertex, because the axis of symmetry is the x-coordinate of the vertex. This is y equals k. We know k, it's positive 1, so y equals 1. And now we can sketch. So, this doesn't have to be amazing. I think I say that every time. Let's put on our x-intercepts. Well, we don't have any y-intercept. Y equals 3. the axis of symmetry, x equals 1, y equals 1. So we know it's a smiley face and we know it's going to turn around here, so it's going to go up like that, and it's going to be exactly symmetrical, but I can't draw. That's it. Let's do another one. Let's do y equals negative 3x squared plus 6x plus 3. So the hard bit about this is that there's negative in front of the x squared, which we're going to have to factorize out. Because we want y equals a, x take h squared plus k. We don't want anything in front of the x in the brackets. So we're going to have to factorize that out. We're going to factorize it out of the first two terms. We won't bother with the third. So we've got y equals negative 3 out the front of x squared, take 2x, and then plus 3 at the end. Okay, now we can have this number here. So we get y equals negative 3x take 1 squared. Now normally you just want to do a minus 1 squared plus 3, but don't forget we've got this negative 3 out the front. So we need to do take negative 3 times that. Does that make sense? I'm just going to fix this up. Yep. So whatever number is out the front has to go out the front of this one squared as well. And that one came from there. So we've got y equals negative 3 out the front of x, take 1 squared, take negative 3 plus 3. So we get y equals negative 3 out the front of x, take 1 squared, plus 3 is plus 6. So here, a equals negative 3, h equals 1, k equals 6. And now let's start the steps to sketch. So concave, well, because the number in front of the x squared is negative, it's going to be concave down. It's going to be sad. Okay, the y-intercept. Let x equals 0. This is much easier from the original equation. So we've got negative 3 times 0 squared plus 6 times 0 plus 3. Y equals 3. Okay, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. X-intercept, let y equal 0. Well, we're going to do this with our completed the square form. So I've got 0 equals negative 3 out of x, take 1 squared plus 6. Take that positive 6 over, I get negative 6 equals negative 3 outside of x, take 1 squared. Have to divide by negative 3 first. Negative 6 divided by negative 3 is positive 2 equals x, take 1 squared. And now I can square root. Plus minus the square root of 2 equals x, take 1. I now add 1 to both sides. So plus minus root 2 plus 1 equals x. Another way of writing that is x equals 1 plus minus root 2. Okay, now the axis of symmetry, which is x equals h. So here we already know h, x equals 1. The y-coordinate, which is y equals k. So here we already know it, y equals 6. And now I can sketch. Okay, and we're now ready to sketch. So it's y. Oh, come on, straight lines. And this is x. Now I know it's going to go through the line go through the point y equals 3. The x-intercepts are x equals 1 plus minus root 2. Now root 2 is approximately 1.414. Calculator. So 1 minus root 2, I may as well just do here. 1 minus root 2. 1 plus root 2, I may as well, if I make that 1, do here, 1 plus root 2. The axis of symmetry, I know if I make this one 1, and the y-coordinate of it is 6, so I know it's going to turn around here and it's sad, so it's going to go that way, so it's going to be like that, but you know, drawn better. Yeah.